Okay, so it's the next day now. The horns have dried well enough. What I think I'm going to try and do now is just get a receiver out to test all the throws and make sure they're all moving, get them all centered and everything. And then we'll see what else we can do. I'm not quite, at the minute I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this, what's the next thing to do. I know I've got to get the BTX in, and the receiver and the battery, FPV stuff and whatnot. But I want to make sure all the control surfaces are working first. So, let's find the receiver. Okay, so everything's moving. Just need to, hold on, let's just make sure the motor's turning that way. Yep, that's fine. Tip to everybody, if you're keeping it live, probably best not to have the prop on. I'm not sure, I'm not going to take this one off just now. Okay. So what I'm going to do is disconnect the power, re-centralise mechanically the elevons. Maybe give it just a little bit of up trim. That'll induce some reflex into the aerofoil. And then I can trim back the push rods and go from there. Okay, so I'm happy with the servo installs, push rods. As I said previously, what I might do, if I feel once I've flown it that the push rods are flexing too much, I can always strengthen them up. Next thing now then really is trying to see about the installation of receiver and all these other bits and pieces in here. This is just a little part fly receiver I've got in here just now. I need to see what the range on that is meant to be. So, a couple of those. I don't think I've got the other 6-channel receivers in here just now. Okay, I've got a leveling receiver there which I'll put in. I can use that. I'm happy to use that. That'll. There's a lot of people rant and rave about good and bad receivers. You shouldn't mix brands, this, that and the other. I've had quite a few of these lemon receivers. Compared to their orange counterparts, these are a lot better. I actually binned a whole handful of orange receivers because of the amount of failure rates. I think that receiver is like 10 or something, maybe 15 quid. I think it's about $15 it was actually. But that's straight from the manufacturer. Half decent receivers. So I'll see about getting that installed into here. Make sure it still works. Tiny little receiver, just put a bit of heat shrink around it, just to give it a bit of protection. Also means things won't short out as easily. I need to remember how to bind it. Because there's no instructions. No instructions come with the packaging, it's all online. I seem to remember that it's the same as the Spectrum, so it's the far left, bind plug. good. So now, theoretically, if that balanced, that is just about ready to fly. Electronically, you know, everything's connected up, everything's working. There's motor, just need to strap the battery in. But I know it's going to need weight in the front. So what I might well do is put the VTX in loosely, and quite possibly just put some lead in the front to balance it, and then take the lead out as required for the FPV camera when it goes in. The reason for putting the VTX in is just because I know that's going to be behind the CG, so I want to make sure I've got anything aft of the CG in, so I know how much weight I need at the front. So I think I'm just going to loosely fix this lot in, whether it be tape or whatever, and go from there.
Throttle trim position. Throttle trim position.
God only knows what that meant. Right, I think it could have been that I just left it on. It's not been doing anything. But that is, I might just cut that out a bit more with the wiring. That is everything in there. Motor, servos, ESC, UBEC, battery, receiver. It's all there. It's all working. It's going to have more than enough power as well. So, what I need to do now, really, is see about balancing it. So, you'll have to bear with me. I need to refer to the instructions that are somewhere piled down here. Making this all safe, just going to disconnect the battery and switch that off so it doesn't scare the absolute crap out of me again. Right, I'll come back to you in a few moments once I figure out how to balance this thing. Okay, so in the single sheet instructions for this, I found a bit of discrepancy with the CG location. There's 3 different CG locations for this, depending on where you measure it from. They're all saying measure it from the furthest point on the nose, but the point at which they're showing it should measure at, they're saying 125mm back from the nose, which is fine. 125mm back measured comes to just in front of these servo lead holes on the model. On the drawing it's showing it to be back here, so there's about 15mm of a difference. So I'm erring on the side of caution and going for the nose heavy option. I can always move the CG back. It's easier to fly a model that's nose heavy than it is tail heavy. So I'm going to go with the nose heavy option to start with, and then the minute there's no camera, there's no nothing in the front here, it's just a blunt nose. So I've got the FPV camera to go in there, and I've got or will have the action camera. I'll probably end up using this one, it's in here just now. There's not much weight in them, but I've had to put 75 grams of lead in here to balance it out. So not really much weight. I haven't actually weighed the whole model yet, I'm just thinking about it. I'll do that just now. Again, it might be that accurate because it's on jeweler's scales. But this is a ready to fly weight. Yeah, this scale can't measure it. This can only measure up to half a kilo, 500 grams. Yeah, so it's over 500 grams. I don't know how much it weighs. I'll maybe get some kitchen scales borrowed and see how much it weighs. BTX is just underneath here. That's just loosely in there, just so I've got the balance. Once it's flown, I'm happy with it. I can then start connecting out the FPV stuff. The last thing to do now is just put some tape onto these servo leads to hold them in place. They're not quite long enough to reach through the servo welds that they've made in the foam. I'm not worried about that because eventually there's only going to be one servo lead coming out this way. I will have to extend them, but I don't want to extend them twice, so I'm doing the sort of, how can you word it, cheap and nasty way just now. I'm just going to tape them down so it's secure for flying, and then tidy it all up once it's flying and I'm happy with it. But yeah, for now, that is the S800. It's ready to go. Hopefully after this video, and hopefully not too far in the future, we'll get the maiden flight of it, and then hopefully get some FPV footage as well. So if you've enjoyed these sorts of videos, me putting this wing together, leave the comments at the bottom. All the links to everything that's in this model, what I've used, are below. I haven't put the FPV gear in it yet because I'm not quite sure what's going in there, but I will put links to that in either this video or subsequent videos. Yeah, below as well we've got our media feeds. Give us a like on them, on Instagram, Facebook, etc. Something just hit me in the back of the head. Oh, that's a big fly. So yeah, hopefully next time you see this model, it'll be in the air. But until then, I'll catch you again soon.